and the absolute laws of nature, for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. The divine mind knows, the divine mind shows. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Peace and power to the people of the struggle. Salute, salute, salute. What's good, what's good, what's good, what's going on? Man. Listen. Man. Listen. I spoke on it last week. I spoke on it 90 days ago. I spoke on it 6 months ago. I am completely in awe of what's going on with our women. Our women, trust and believe, who I have expressed numerous times that without our women in our square, without our women in our cipher, without our women side by side, we will surely fail. And I don't mean just the average woman. I mean our conscious, woke, aware of herself, right? Aware of her powers. Our women are our greatest tool, just as we are our women's greatest tool. Together, we cannot be stopped. We just cannot be stopped. Do you dig what I'm saying? But when we are out of order and she is out of order, oh man, when I tell you that we are on a crash, a completely explosive crash, you dig? I don't get it. This shit is going to be monumental. And I'm telling you, everything is being set up. Everything is being set up for our demise within their demise. Because as we have seen also in the last couple of days, the structure, like I've been telling you, the structure of those who claim to be governing the planet is breaking down. It is just a mess. Leadership, institutions that were guaranteed to work, it's a mess. So the object is to make sure the most powerful individuals, which is us, the most powerful individuals are completely destroyed, that we are the main casualties in this coming disorder. No doubt about it. Societies are collapsing. Countries are collapsing. And the only ones who are able to rebuild are the ones who never benefited or rarely benefited and had to deal with the bare minimums of society, so we will know how to navigate without, because we've been doing it. So in order for the power shift not to come, they had to destroy us. And destruction comes from us not being united, us not being able to communicate, us not being able to trust each other, us not being loyal to each other. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Now we're getting to the main crust, right? Our young women, our youth, Our culture, whether it's art, music, theater, and this this isn't even over sexualization at this point. All right? It's not even over sexualization, right? We're in a space now where it is kink and filth and the acceptance of these lifestyles. Because first you get the really? You get the really? That's what you get, right? What happened? And then you get the tolerance, then an acceptance, right? It's how as we uh witnessed that Euro saying she don't bathe every day. And first people, but most of the conscious folk was like, yeah, well, we knew that. That's them, right? And then, excuse me, you see the black woman say it. So now it's like, oh, hold on, what? Sis, you bugging. And then it just disappeared. That's just a flash, like a flash card, you know? Boom, get it up in your conscious real quick. Now it's on our youth, right? Because Young Miami, Glorilla, Kiely, for me, she's a youth. For many, she may be older, but I remember the cute little girl in 3LW. I remember that song was all that for me. I remember that, you know, in that stage of 106 and MTV. You understand what I'm saying? All right. So these are young folk. When we were younger and first exposed to uh, pornography, short eyes, you know what I'm saying? What we call paper pussy. There was not that extra piece. Those extra pieces weren't there, right? Just weren't there. You was just seeing female genitalia, maybe the hair, right? You see a little bush that was big, right? Because Playboy was big. By the time it got to Penthouse and Hustler, that was we talking years of exposing. But then once you started getting deep and you started getting older and the 80s came through, 90s, you're seeing some real extreme things. And it was never our thing. These perversions was never our thing. And if it was ours, they were older dudes, like way older. And these are individuals that didn't mix with the youth, the culture, and because people older in the culture haven't matured into adults, they're still playing with kids, right? As you see, Diddy is playing with these are children of him. These are kids. When you're in your 50s and you're dealing with somebody in their 20s, that's a kid. It's not a fair exchange. A man that old with money, with somebody that's trying to get into the industry, that's not a fair exchange. You're manipulating and dominating and controlling that situation. You're playing with a kid. You understand? So our elders starting and have now made it solid, right, for people to cross generation. And in that cross generation, these activities, these things that you never knew the older people were doing, you're being exposed to it. Fast track it to now, where our children are thrown into a space where people believe that they are actually initiating what's going on. And we come to these titles today. Young Miami, likes golden showers, right? And if you don't know what a golden shower is, it means urinating, somebody urinating on you. Really? This is where we going. This is, again, like I said last night, people's sexuality, people's kinks are private. Nobody needs to know this in order for you to sell records, in order for you to be somebody who claims to be a professional in their craft. We don't need to know that. TMI. Too much information. All right? Too much information. You like to be urinated on. Right? She likes it warm. Now, a couple of years ago, when many of us who give content were speaking on all of these strippers, dancers, brand ambassadors going to Dubai, getting these trips to Dubai, and these Arab men defecating on them in order to give them those bags, 10 grand, and all these things and money they was talking about they was coming back with, but wasn't saying what they were doing. They was going over there and letting somebody doodle on their chest, film it, but most of the films are illegal because these activities in an Islamic country, they get their head chopped off. That's why they don't have their own women doing it. They'll allow this to come through, right? And who else going to do it but, these misguided black women. So all them trips to Dubai and all that, okay. And I'm not talking about post-pandemic. I'm talking about pre-pandemic. It was big. All these IG moms was going over there, getting boo-booed on. You know what I'm saying? Coming back with the funky chest. Like, whoa, yeah. This is what they were doing. This was common. And again, it was not. And it is never necessary in order for you to do what you do, in order for you to sell what you sell, unless that's what you're selling, for anybody to know your sexuality, your kink, especially not a celebrity. We never knew what Debbie Allen was into. We never knew what, Jasmine Guy was into. We never knew what Thea Vidal was in. We didn't know these things. And frankly, we didn't care because we were looking at their show. We were looking at the talent. We were looking at the film. We wasn't concerned about that. That wasn't thrown out in the front. So now we have a young woman who's dealing with this older individual, right? Who we still questioning how he identifies, having several, a new child right in close proximity to his claim of her, which was humiliating in itself. And now you layer it with allowing the world to know that you like it warm. You like golden shower. Not a hot shower, right? Where, with soap and water, you shouting. You're not saying, I don't like a hot shower. Oh, girl, I had a long day coming from the studio or from the club or off, off the stage. I want to get in a hot shower, and just clean off. No, you said you like a giggling. I like a warm shower, right? The golden, come on, yo. What are we supposed to do with that information? What are your parents supposed to do with that information? What are your grandparents supposed to do with that information? What are some of the homies, right? Some of your girlfriends, all right, around you. What are they supposed to do with that? Right? Like, hold up. If we are to believe it. And if we don't believe it, and is not actually true, what kind of thing is that to say for clout? Come on now. Come on. Where are we going? Like, how much tolerance are we supposed to have when we're witnessing, right? Our women, not just the average. We're talking about those who are thrusted to the top of their game. Not just owning their sexuality. Owning your sexuality is one thing. Exposing it and giving it face is another. And I've never known anyone, male or female, unless they were in the porn industry, to be respected after that. Porn stars are really, respected outside of their industry, even once they retire and quit. If people remember and focus in on that, it's rare that you can go into any other industry and be successful. Now, I've seen some, right? But again, they do so much to take away that particular character that, if you're not into it, you wouldn't know. Like, I've know some. Shit, I'm IG friends with some, and I'm personal friends with some. And complete transition. If you didn't come up in a certain era, you wouldn't even know who they are. You wouldn't know what they did, how long they done it. So for us to see young rappers, young commercial rappers talk in that manner, especially when these individuals, do y'all know that Young Miami and the City Girls was doing homecoming tours at universities, right? Because they were invited by the universities. That means that the student, the SGO, wanted these individuals to perform. They're influenced by them. They enjoy that vibration. Now these same women are sitting and watching her as she says, yeah, I like it warm. Golden showers. So again, we all know, because we know better. We know how to say, oh, okay, that's cool for you. We're not influenced by that. That's not our peer. But her peer group and those under who, hey, I mean, come on. Yo, they're heavily influenced by that because they see them as a measure of success. Absolutely not necessary. Which always always leads us to have to make the call that there is an agenda. There is an agenda to destroy the image of our black women. Remember, when any of us win, if it's the black woman winning and excelling, there's going to be a point at which they're going to try to destroy her image and her prestige. If it's the black man, they're going to do the same. They already knocked us down. Black men are finished as far as imagery. Remember, we done went from Fred Williamson and Jim Kelly to Saucy Santana, Lil Nas X. That's an absolute fact. It's not debatable or nothing. That is the image that you see. Other than the black man on the news. You see that all day, every day, across the country, nationwide, damn near globally. The image of the criminal is the image of a black man. He's always in cuffs. He's always running. He's always done did some crime. That's all. That's it. Is it a true reflection of us? No. But is that the image that is seen globally? Definitely. Definitely. Even if you get an articulate, intelligent black man, he is speaking for the institutions that oppress us. He is never coming from a space of anti-them. He's sitting right along them in the pocket. And that image, we don't touch that. We don't touch that. So now that you got rid of the image of the black man, you done got rid of it. You put them in purses, you put them in dresses, put them in pink ankle socks with ruffles. You did all type of shit. Bondage wear, all that. Okay? So now, the women, since they are naturally nurturers, naturally go-getters, and they've been thrust into a space of where we seen in the 20s, right? In the first 2000s to the 2010s, moving. Entrepreneurship, leadership, shit. Police, fire, military, judgeships, lawyers, black women. Boom! Did they smash? Oh, now we got to get rid of her because she began to go back for those disenfranchised, unemployed, depressed black men. Nah, let me go back there and scoop you up, dust you off, put you back in place. That was the threat. Then once they became couples and unified and helping their others, they got conscious and woke. Oh no, we can't have that. We cannot have that. Let us find a way to just smash this out. And what quicker way is to pay them, fetishize them, right? And have the world look at her as nothing but a big sex organ. Because you done mandingoed the man out. He's not responsible for himself. He is no longer held accountable for anything. You did that. But when you can allow a woman, a black woman, to be proud and vocally proud of being a whore, yo, you win a ball game. They win in the ball game. Trust and believe. And they've been doing it slowly. Most of the outfits, or they want to call costumes, that you're seeing these black entertainers in, no different than what they're wearing on the track. Absolutely no different. Trust and believe. If you could put them on the track, turn them around. If you don't know that that's who that is, you just think this is an average person, an average broad on the yellow stripe making it right. You would not know. But when you turn them around and you identify with a song or a movie role, right? You see, you're like, oh, okay, that's such and such. And you ignore that the outfit she has on could be on the neighborhood track. And it's been consistent. It's been consistent. And applauded and imitated. Imitated. Knees. We talking about knees. We talking about twerking. We talking about twerk class. We talking about all this. About women who not even in entertainment. The dynamic is weird and it's shifted. It's shifted. So now you have this, but you never speak on the abuse that gets them in a space where they feel comfortable saying these things. All right? There's a layer, a mental layer of abuse that allows, right, this part, your psyche, to sit in a space and say, yeah, I like it warm. That's what I like. For a young woman, all right? We already seen a couple of weeks ago, Glorilla says she likes semen on her cereal or her sandwich or whatever. Like, are these humiliation rituals or are these truth and actual facts? You understand? Because, again, because of the terminology and the slang and the music and, you know, putting babies on somebody's back and things like that, now you upping it a notch. Oh, I eat them. Because it's no longer common for somebody to say that they swallow. Swallow and spit is two different, it's too ordinary. Now we have to show our women in another level of depravity and kink. Again, to each his own. Not judging your kink or whatever, but we don't need to know that. When did we ever know that? Remember, eyes wide shut, mask, all that. You know, we've been through it in the 80s and the 90s. Yeah, they had closed doors, parties, and nobody, swingers and all that. Nobody knew. You didn't know if your grandmas were swinging. You ain't know if your pops or your uncles were swinging. Again, older folk. Now we're in a space where you having youth being influenced by youth on these levels. And it's not healthy because, again, whatever you doing, whoever you doing it with, is not getting us any closer to our liberation. At all. It's not resourceful at all. Not one bit. Not one bit. When we're not getting resources from watching and witnessing this thing that we call entertainment, it does us a disservice. So you clap and cheer because Diddy could dance across the stage, and then you can do it in your house, and you're not getting paid for it though. So how does that service you if he gets $1 billion doing it? But what they did ingeniously was say, hey, we can get these people paid for them. This is social media. Create an app, TikTok. Let them get paid for acting the way they see these individuals act. So when you say, yo, Young Miami likes it warm, she likes to get peed on. Oh, word? TikTok it. Let's imitate it. It's a challenge. How many black girls can get peed on? Oh, is it so funny now? Is it as entertaining now? Is it a chuckle moment now when you see your little cousins coming in the door smelling like a baby's diaper and your little cousin is 14, 15? Like, in your mind, you're saying something wrong. Like, she ain't supposed to smell like the 2-year-old's diaper. Why is she smelling like urine? That's just how easy and how simple it is. That's how simple it is. So we go from that to now within the same couple of hours, right? Kiely Willams from 3LW, right? Another child. This is adolescent girl group. Saying that, when she calls an entanglement with another young, right, adolescent R&B group at the time. These are kids. Saying that she had this entanglement with the whole group. Then she had to say, oh, but except Omarion. So you allow this, again, didn't have a menage, you know what I'm saying? 3 young men at the same time, on one time, and had in the same breath, had the audacity to say, well, I'm grown now. I got kids. Yeah, I used to dot. I was dotting. Hold on. You said this on social media, and you just said you got kids. You think your kids are not going to hear that? You don't believe that there's going to come a time when your children want to know why you're famous and want to watch your old videos and your old performances, and once they Google search or do another search engine, yeah, let's see how famous mom was, and put up 3LW and other groups come up in that feed, right? Because it's black urban music, teeny bop music for black people, and see B2K, and then Kiely Willams. Right? Went to the choo-choo train with this group. A group who already is rumored to have had abuse within it. It's not cute. This shit isn't funny. So what image do you want people to have of this young group of guys who were already, right, rumored to have had sexual abuse against them in the industry, and here you come co-signing it or adding on to it, saying that, yeah, we got down. All right? So now the group was a clean group. 3LW was clean cut. You put an image of yourself in a different space as an older woman, right? Because she been out of it for a minute. Yeah, you was a teen in that, but we talking damn near 20 years, 25 years. So what are young black folk supposed to think about each other? How are they supposed to communicate with each other? How are they supposed to relate to one another when there's no chivalry, there's no honesty, right? Because if they're not talking about that, right? Because that's a theme in a lot of the drill music, right? A lot of the drill music that we've been listening to for the past 5 years. Even Meek Mill talk about switch and passing a young woman on to his friends. You understand? This is a theme. Shorty whopped off the group. Shorty this, shorty that. This is a consistent theme. So how do our young women view themselves when it comes to relating to our young men? How do our young men and older men relate to our women and young women when the lines have been blurred? When there's a tolerance for an over 50-year-old to deal with a new 20? At what point are we even thinking of getting out of our oppressed state? When we're trapped into the kinks, when we're trapped into the addiction, when we are trapped into the buffoonery. Again, like I said last night, we are the only group of people on this planet that intentionally destroys each other, intentionally attacks each other, while rarely having any thought of intentionally harming our enemies. Rarely. That is a conditioning, a mental conditioning. So I wish these young women well. I really do. But that's information we didn't need, information we shouldn't laugh at, and information that we have to be very critical of. Like who you like what you want to like, do what you want to do. You understand? But be mindful of the damage that is to come from it. Again, peace and power to all people of the struggle. All green screens, donations, all green screens have been appreciated. We're going to build some more. Ooh, yeah, that's all we do. Solution? The solution? Keep your sexuality to yourself. What are you exposing it for? What are you exposing it for? Keep it to yourself. You dig? Unless you plan on selling it. Peace and